How did Last Supper Society come together? How did you two find each other?
Just being both from Sacramento, I was a fan of some of the things and pop-ups that Byron was doing. So we were always at least loosely connected. And then we just sat down trying to figure out a way to make this fine dining thing that seems to be just stuffy and inaccessible to everyone. How can we make it dope and make people feel like they belong in these spaces? And if they don't feel like they belong in those spaces, how can we build the spaces and experience around the people instead of vice versa?
Coming from a fine dining background and having worked all over the place in different restaurants and seeing different experiences, like, you know, I always noticed that accessibility was always something that I didn't understand why, like, these things were not accessible to everybody else. Like, why do they have to be so inaccessible? Even to just my demographic and my age group, like, you don't see a ton of us eating at these super high-end restaurants. And just trying to figure out a way to make it accessible and to make it relevant again for our demographic.
And we had this idea when we were first starting, and we were trying to distill everything down to the most basic forms. Like, we weren't even talking about food yet. We weren't talking about cuisine. We weren't talking about anything. We were talking about the space we were trying to create and the experience we were trying to curate. What do we want people to feel when they come to a Last Supper Society function? What do we want them to take away and leave? What do we want to happen there? And we wanted to build community in these spaces, and we knew that. And I think food unlocks that magic a little bit, and opens people up to share. And when you use food and you break it down as a cultural artifact, we're giving a piece of ourselves to our guests always, and they're giving us a piece of them, and we're creating this whole new space. So if we could just build that, you know what I mean, that shell, the magic happens and populates. Yeah, the food is fire, but there's a whole nother thing that's happening. And for us to be able to do that authentically, it's about being ourselves always.
Food is an experience at every single level, whether you're going to, you know, McDonald's or you're going to, again, a 2-hour, 8-course dinner. The experience is the common thread there. And I really want to keep diving deep on that topic.
We're taking this environment and creating this fine dining thing and say, yo, anything can have these FUBU vibes. It could all be for us, by us, and everyone can be welcome, but we're going to do it our way. And we're not going to code switch to make it fit the way you guys want to do it or someone else wants to do it. We're just going to take this thing, we're going to make it dope and invite anyone to come over to where we are, but we're not going to move what we're doing to fit in to where anybody else is.